And now, an 8th special presentation.
In this edition of Artbeat Nation, enter the past and present through photography.
I really believe that a photographer or image maker has a civic responsibility.
Learn how artists are transforming Central Phoenix into an open-air gallery.
Art, it's a language. And I think that's the best way to get together a community, with art.
Get a glimpse of Shakespeare's last years.
I dreamed a lot of the play. I dreamed Shakespeare came to me and whispered in my ear, as it were.
And meet a national jump rope champion.
I started the jump roping. It originates pretty much from my dad because he saw a movie with girls doing double dutch in it.
It's all ahead on this edition of Artbeat Nation. Funding for Artbeat Nation is made possible by contributions to 8 from viewers like you. Thank you. Petronella Eitzma's photography illuminates the multi-generational effects of Agent Orange and dioxin used during the Vietnam War. In 2007, Eitzma went to Vietnam to document these events for her project Legacy of an Ecocide, Portraits of Agent Orange. Her latest work turns the camera toward veterans of the Vietnam War in Minnesota. Eitzma hopes her striking images spark conversation and consideration for the victims of Agent Orange.
My name is Petronella Janneke Eitzma. In Dutch it would be Petronella Janneke Eitzma. And I'm a St. Paul-based photographer, primarily working in the arts. If there's a common theme in any of my work, it's probably that the base of the external image is rooted in an emotional place for me. So, for example, the installation I had done in 2004 at Augsburg, I titled Treuren, which is an old Huguenot word meaning the place in your soul where sorrow moves in and takes up residence. So from that, I photographed 100 people's hands, shooting a hand like a sculpture. The body of work before that really came out of the death of a really good friend of mine who had 8, and within a short time period of that, my mother died. I wanted to find something beautiful in that awful time period, and I labeled it Myrnon, which is remembrance with great sorrow. That was all botanical images, and all of the flowers or the plants either belonged to Jeffrey or my mother. So in that sense, that kind of tracks back to, if there's a commonality, it's the place where it comes from, not the external look. I've just been standing in the arts for all these years, you know. I just can't not do it. You know, I love working with artists. I love the creativity, you know. Everybody's asking questions in their own way and solving problems in their own way. And I'm actually working with artists who need work shot for either grant application, exhibition proposals, books, publications. So in my studio I shoot both 2 and 3D work, a lot of paintings, sculptures. So I am going to be asking you kind of like about your time in Vietnam. Okay. I really believe that a photographer or image maker has a civic responsibility. This work on the legacy, my little portrait of an ecocide, work that I've been doing both in Vietnam and with the Minnesota vets, is sort of a metaphorical project for me. On a personal level, I had friends who were affected with cancers and illnesses related to their time in service in Vietnam, Agent Orange and dioxin exposure. And at the same time, we were yet again ramping up to go to war again in Iraq. And I think something snapped for me. I think suddenly nothing made sense anymore. And I kind of gave myself an unpaid leave of absence and went to Vietnam to just do research. So this was 2007. And quickly saw effects on families and children. So then I was really fortunate. I was given a State Arts Board grant to return to Vietnam to actually photograph families in villages and small towns. The encapsulation of that particular trip and being with those families was that I felt like I was on the inside of a prayer. I can't ever talk about it without getting really emotional, because it just really doesn't seem fair in life that so many people have to live with something that I feel really culpable for, that particular war. And I met so many people who do it with such grace. And these women have to care for these kids, and some of them are now like 39 years old, and some of them are babies, you know. People are still being born affected. I photographed second, third, and beginning fourth generation.
I was exposed to Agent Orange, mainly from my job in Vietnam, and also from the excessive spraying around the bases, you know. The nerve is dead on both arms. And that's what's happening to my feet now, and my legs, the exact same thing. The feet are just like...
So then the second part of the legacy seems to me the effects on the soldiers, and what's clearest to me is that they have paid for that very deeply. And so have their families and their kids and some of their grandkids and all the rest of their lives.
Yeah. We've got our penance to pay.
I'm trying to understand the cost that they've had to pay and what that's like for them. I do want to understand that. For me, the Vietnam-American War acts as a metaphor for the long-term effects, guaranteed effects of any war. It feels like it's the project that won't let go of me, because it is metaphorical, and because I really do want to understand some truth. I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of looking for a little more level of peace inside of myself. It's not working very well, but, you know.
To learn more, visit PetronellaItzma.com. Sparked by unrest over Arizona's immigration law, SB 1070, artists are transforming 16th Street in Phoenix into an open-air gallery of murals.
Art has been a part of every revolution, every movement. Art evokes ideas.
Art, it's a language. And I think that's the best way to get together a community, with art.
This is how we can do change the perception. We could do something positive during negative times.
In the spring of 2010, Senate Bill 1070 turned Phoenix, Arizona into a reservoir of raw emotion. Anger and resentment over the state's new immigration law spilled into the streets and into the consciousness of the nation.
no, that's not where I come from, and that's not the way we are. You know, perception is everything, right? So the perception is skewed.
Chef Silvana Salcido Esparza, the owner of Barrio Cafe in Phoenix, traveled that summer. And just about everywhere she went, people wanted to know what's up with Arizona.
And the questions, to me, were very stupid. Yet, to them, they were genuine and concerns, and it really brought home the point that we look like buffoons to the rest of the country. So when I came back, I started to think about myself, you know, looking in the mirror, what am I doing, what can I do differently? And I had just commissioned the mural out back. And I'm looking at this mural, and it hit me, we need to do more. What came to me is, you have to do more murals.
I want Phoenix to be full of murals everywhere, not just Calle 16, but every single corner.
Chef Silvana found kindred spirits in Mexican-American artist Genaro Garcia and Bolivian-born artist Hugo Medina.
She talked to me and Genaro Garcia about the idea, and we came up with doing Calle 16. What we want to do is get artists to come out and just paint murals all along 16th Street.
She posted the idea online, and the response was overwhelming.
All I did was Facebook. I put it up on Facebook, and the rest is history. People just kind of stood up and said, yes, absolutely. People who are desperate to do something to change that skewed perception that people have about Phoenix. What I'm saying is, let's take ownership. You know, we have to be accountable for our own actions. You know, you can't fight hate with hate. You know, don't worry about what others are saying. You worry about what you're doing and how are we making things better. And who doesn't love art?
But this will become Mural Alley, so we speak, and we're going to cover this back wall up and try to get this whole area, different artists and different murals. The artists are, most of them donating their time. We're doing a mural at cost.
Brick by brick and wall by wall, artists are transforming 16th Street, or Calle 16, into an open-air gallery of murals.
In doing so, we want to beautify the street, because as you'll see, a lot of the buildings have been closed down. You have a lot of the tagging that's gone up, so it's really been turning the neighborhood around.
In early May, Medina led a walking tour of the neighborhood along 16th Street between McDowell and Thomas Roads. The community has a number of existing murals. Some have been here for decades. Others are relatively new.
As you see the different murals, you see the different styles, different flavors of the artist. When I decided to do this mural, I wanted to do a homage to the jimador, who harvests the agave plant to make tequila.
The area has a large Mexican population, so Senate Bill 1070 and the economic recession were a double whammy for local business.
I think it's dropped off about 50%. And that's a lot. You see a lot of the little businesses closing down across the street. Very good businesses. They cannot survive because their client base has left. Whether they were deported or auto-deported, they're gone.
Chef Silvana is helping businesses reinvent themselves, and the mural project is bringing people together.
It's not our project, it's the community's project. It's something that people in Arizona who live here day in and day out are doing for their community.
Calle 16 has evolved into a grassroots organization that seeks to build community by promoting art, culture, and cuisine on 16th Street in Phoenix. The murals are simply a catalyst.
What I keep saying is, it's community-based. It means it's got to cost us. Sweat equity, dig into our own pockets, bring out our own talent. You can't go out there and say, help us, if you're not doing anything. So what we're doing is we're doing it together.
That's how this mural came to be. Emblazoned on the side of a sporting goods store with colorful Mexican imagery and a carved plaster relief of the face of Frida Kahlo, it's the first official mural by Calle 16.
I wanted to do something really special. This mural had to be like amazing for me. This mural, I wanted to be like the face of Phoenix. I want people to come visit Phoenix and say, oh, we have to go to the mural. We have to go and take a picture of the mural.
Garcia designed the mural, but he didn't paint it alone.
I have a lot of help. I think more between 100 and 150 people.
Other artists pitched in, and plenty of kids from the neighborhood stopped by to leave their mark.
In 5 years, most of those kids will be in high school and driving, and they're going to look over and say, hey, I did that. See that little line right there? I did that. You know, and it's community, it's sense of community. So it starts with one mural, but it's endless where it can go.
Where it goes is anyone's guess. There are very few limitations.
First of all, we don't want any politics on Calle 16, but it's there. I mean, let's face it, it's in our face.
It's not a political movement. It's not a political retaliation. This is not a retaliation to 1070. This is not a Mexicano movement or a Latino movement. This is a Phoenician movement.
We don't want to restrict the artists to not paint what they want to. We want them to allow them to have their vision as a Calle 16 mural, but we want it to be cultural, historic, and positive.
Bienvenidos a Arizona. Welcome to Arizona is the title of Garcia's mural. Its message, build your own American dream. Garcia says he's already living his.
Because I'm an immigrant. I was illegal. I was illegal for the longest time. But now I'm a citizen and I'm part of this beautiful country. This is my country. And if I was still living in any other country in the world, and I cannot give the best life to my family, I will come to America. Every single life. Every single life. It's a beautiful thing. I think that's the whole idea of America.
And the whole idea of Calle 16 is to spread that American spirit.
And when we're done with this block, we're going next block. And we just have to nurture it and feed it and take care of it. But Calle 16 is here, most definitely here.
To learn more, visit Calle 16 Mural Project on Facebook. Robert Brustein, founding director of the American Repertory Theater in Boston, recently completed the final installment of his theatrical trilogy of the life of William Shakespeare. The Last Will explores how Brustein imagined Shakespeare's last years in his hometown.
Robert Brustein's new play, The Last Will, about William Shakespeare's end of days, is the stuff of dreams.
I dreamed a lot of the play. I dreamed Shakespeare came to me and whispered in my ear, as it were. Not literally, but, you know, I woke up with scenes and ideas. And if they came to me in my dreams, I trust my dreams more than I do reality.
I've come to beg my family's forgiveness for my contemptible behavior as a husband and father.
In The Last Will, the final installment of Brustein's trilogy of Shakespeare plays, Shakespeare has returned home to Stratford, beset by illness.
There were these mysterious 4 years when he left his job at the Globe and went home to settle with his family, and no one quite knows why he gave up playwriting. He was a young man, he was only 48.
A dean of the American Theater, Brustein is a founder of both Yale Repertory Theater and the American Repertory Theater. He's a director, actor, longtime critic, and now late-blooming playwright. So there's perhaps no one better to illustrate Shakespeare's final days than the man who spent a lifetime consuming his work.
When Shakespeare gets quite urgent in his plays, that he may be reflecting qualities in his own life, attitudes in his own life, particularly this rage against women.
Then why was he clutching your handkerchief?
Which handkerchief?
This one! He voided his bloody room on it!
For much of The Last Will, Brustein put Shakespeare back in the marriage to Anne Hathaway that he'd long abandoned to pursue his career in London. She's played by Brooke Adams.
Anne was a strong woman who put up with his nonsense, which was basically that he never was around. And in a way, there was sort of a meeting of the minds with the two of them.
Adams has relied on modern research for her role because there's little known about Mrs. Shakespeare, other than that she was 8 years the playwright's senior. They were married after she became pregnant, and he left her little when he died.
He was so far ahead of his time, and she probably wasn't all that ahead of hers. So I think they were probably fairly well suited when began, but he just couldn't be tied down. He had bigger fish to fry.
In the last will, there's much reconciliation in marriage, life, and legacy.
He was a real celebrity at the end of his time, and he had huge ambition, and he had the actor's ego and all of those things, so I can relate to that.
It is over.
How can it be over? You've become a legend.
It is over.
You know, all my whole life at this age is history now, so history has suddenly taken on a new fascination for me.
Well, I've been recently working on a will, actually. I hope it's not my last will, but it probably will be.
For the 85-year-old Brustein, that's where the similarities to Shakespeare end. The play is not autobiographical, he says, and he is nowhere near his own end of days.
I don't feel I'm at the end of my career yet. I hope to be riding into my 90s. I keep my fingers crossed if I ever get there. But I don't feel any loss of energy at all. It's quite remarkable.
To learn more, visit robertbrustein.com. Adrienne Beneghi has won several global competitions as a jump roper. One day she saw a Cirque du Soleil performance on television and decided a career on stage was her next step.
I come from Hungary. That's where I started the jump roping. It originates pretty much from my dad because he saw a movie with girls doing double dutch in it, and he thought it would be a great sport for his students in the school where he was teaching at that time. We saw an American team performing, and they were already at a very high level at that time. So that was kind of my first big inspiration to stick with the sport and to master the difficult tricks. We won quite a few competitions, actually 3 times World Championships and 5 times European Championships. So it was about 20 years ago when I started and did 16 years of competition. Yeah. At one point I felt that it's enough of the competition and it's time to kind of do a transition in my life. One night there was a Cirque du Soleil show presented on TV, and that's when the idea came that I could do very similar to that. Cirque du Soleil was looking for professional rope skippers, so I handed in my materials, showed them a video, and they invited us 2 friends to show off our skipping skills. Actually, I had a lot of help from Cirque because before we get to perform in the show, we had to participate in a long training period where we not only learned the choreography, but we worked with a lot of different people who help us to learn about body language, gestures, about mimics, to play with the face and to express ourselves better. It's a big difference. Because normally in the competitive world you train a lot to be in the best possible shape when the competition comes, and the performances are more focused on the consistency, so you can do it every day. Kidam is about a young girl, Zoe, and she's being neglected by her parents, so she escapes to an imaginary world where she's being encouraged and helped by different characters to find her happiness again. The whole jump rope act, it's about creating a playful atmosphere to bring back the playground feeling. We are about 20 performers on the stage at the same time. And we do all the possible tricks with the jump rope. You can see combination, speed, multiple unders, a lot of acrobatics, and all combined with funky music. For me, the hardest part was the transition, to learn how to express myself and how to find the connection with the audience so they can have as much fun as I do when I'm doing it. For us, the tour is like a little traveling village. We are 52 artists from 18 different countries. After some time, we kind of become each other's family because we spend so much time together. Hop, hop, and always the same, hop. One of the nicest things about having jump rope in the show, that it's close to everyone. Pretty much everybody had an experience with the jump rope. Hop, hop. With all the traveling, with meeting people, you get to listen to different languages and experiencing a lot from different cities and the world around. It's something that I always wanted to do, and I really love what I do.
Kidame is currently touring the United States. To find out more, go to cirquedusoleil.com. For more arts and culture, visit azpbs.org/artbeat, where you'll find featured videos and information on the Arizona art scene. Funding for Artbeat Nation was made possible by contributions to aid from viewers like you. Thank you.